Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming to the next set of talks. We've now arrived at the Fire Talks portion of the program, so we've got 6 15-minute presentations for you, all in a row. And the first one is going to be OpSec for Grandma. Please give a warm ShmooCon welcome to Rich Mogull.
Look, if you're sitting in this room, you're a hacker, and you're probably a pretty damn good one. And some of you have been spending decades building up your career, and you're a senior security executive defending some of the most important organizations out there in the world. But it doesn't matter how much time you've invested into your careers, because when you go home to visit your friends and family, you're free IT support. Look, yeah, look, we'd all prefer to be hanging out at the beach with our dogs. And I know, it's like, oh, that's my dog on the beach. We'd all prefer to be hanging out on the beach with our dogs, and we don't want to be fixing other people's computers in our spare time. But there's literally nobody in the world who is better at protecting our friends and family than us. This is what we do. And although we want to spend our day and nights knocking down APTs like they're NPCs, nothing, I know, APC, NPC, oh, sorry. Nothing has prepared us to defend me mom pop with the laptop. The reality is our elders have been under assault since time immemorial, long before the internet. Because as we age, we have accumulated wealth and our cognitive facilities degrade. It makes us more prone to falling for spam and phishing attacks or attempting to invade Greenland. So, like a lot of us in the room, we have all been dealing with this issue. For the most part, the scams that I've seen my friend and family fall for or have to struggle with come in from a few different areas. It's going to be phishing attacks over email. It's going to be browser-based phishing, typically going to be pop-ups and those kind of scams, frequently delivered through advertising networks. There's also going to be cold calls and cold text messages coming in. And I've been dealing with this for a while. This is an email that I got forwarded to me on December 27th from my father-in-law that looks just like, if you don't know what you're doing, this would be really easy to fall for. And so I spent years, because I've had to be the main person supporting my friends and family, and I've come up with 5 things that I've found to be extremely effective. And I've gone from like a dozen incidents and a half a dozen close calls every year to pretty much basically nothing by following this. Now, the first thing is, I support all my friends and family as long as they use Macs. Look, not everyone here loves Apple products as much as I do, but the reality is the defaults come, it's much more secure. You've got hardware to software defenses that are harder to implement on other platforms. Is it possible? Sure. These are the less technically diligent people in our families. Let's make it as easy as possible for them. So out of the box, Gatekeeper works really well. Yeah, you can circumvent if you want, but if you see the other defenses that I've got in place, this works extremely well. So I have it always set so they can only install applications from the Mac App Store and trusted developers. And for some of those family members I'm really worried about, I take off the trusted developers and everything comes from the App Store, or I install it myself. And Apple's done a really good job of making it hard to install things outside of this pathway. It used to be a lot easier with right clicks and stuff. Now it's much harder to do. I also make sure I'm an admin user on all of those systems. I try and get them to use Safari, not Chrome, because Chrome is an advertising product. And then I set up iCloud accounts. I make sure that that password is stored in a really secure way. Why? Because with messages and FaceTime, I can remote into their systems without them having to install any new software. It's just kind of all built in. It's pretty easy to use, and I've managed to get less technical users through it. And I'm going to talk about some of the other things as we go along a little bit more. Now look, some of you unfortunately have to use Windows. It's a wonderful advertising delivery platform that occasionally provides computing tasks. And do your best, man. I'm sorry if you're stuck with it. I've got one Windows system. It's just for gaming. It's pretty locked down. You can set Windows to only install apps from the Microsoft Store. That's what I would encourage. Obviously, Defender works pretty well. It's one of the better things that they've done. And, you know, do your best. Number 2, passwords. Put them in a book. Okay, look, I've been a 1Password user since 2008, version 1. I've used LastPass. I love password managers. Everybody talks about using those for friends and family. Nope. If somebody is older, you give them a book. You try and have one account per page. Why do I do it that way? Because they're going to, bigger letters, and they can keep the history of their passwords as they put new ones in. The problems I've encountered with some family members is they'll do a new password, they'll forget the old password, or they'll have crossed it out. Don't cross it out, just leave them all in the book. You pick the one at the bottom of the list, do your best. Try and teach them to only use lowercase, limited characters, and numbers. Why? Because handwriting recognition is really fucking hard for human beings. Computers are way better at it. Now, this is the most effective and important piece of what I do. NextDNS doesn't know who the hell I am. I get no money from them or anything else. I started using this a few years ago. It is a paid DNS service. It has incredibly robust filtering options for all different kinds of malware and threat feeds and advertising networks. And it's too goddamn cheap. Like, they're leaving money on the table. $20 for you and your immediate family members. So I set up NextDNS on these systems. And the way that I set it up is on my home network, I actually have it integrated with my router. My Ubiquity passes it up. That's great, but maintaining like router configuration settings remotely is pretty tough if you're not dealing with, unless you're just walking next door. So I actually use the software agent. And the other reason I use the software agent, they've got it for all operating systems, little icon in the menu bar. I teach them that if they have that email that comes in from the church or the temple group, and they need to click on that, and that's going to get filtered because NextDNS will block any of the tracking networks there. They can turn it off, click it, turn it back on. I've only had one incident so far where a family member turned it off, forgot to turn it back on, and then they got phished. So, and the thing is even though this isn't going over through email, if you click on those links in email, NextDNS will do a pretty good job blocking it. I enable logging for when I'm doing friends and family because I can see what they're doing in real time. And so I can turn on the real-time feed, and fortunately, they're older, they don't go to those sites anymore. That would be appalling. But when things get blocked, or I can actually look and see, well, I don't see anything that looks malicious, and that's great. It's been the single most effective thing I've done. It's blocked all advertising. I love it on my home network. And then for all my family members, this is what stopped them from getting those scams more than anything else. I've only had one in the last year that went through via browser-based. Remember, a lot of this is through browser-based ad network compromises. And in that case, it was through Facebook, and it was a full-page video thing that was directly through Facebook, not doing anything bad, just trying to trick them into calling a phone number. Now, the one thing I haven't fully implemented, someone from CAGI in the house, the one thing I have done for myself, I have not done for all the family members, is look, Google and Bing, they are advertising delivery platforms. They are not search engines. You are not the customer. CAGI, you're the customer. Great search results. You get no advertising using paid search. You only get good results, and it prevents, because I have had incidents where family members are searching for things like recipes, and they get to go all these scam sites and everything else. The combination of CAGI and NextDNS has really helped me. This is the one that I'm going to be rolling out. Thought I'd get it done over the holidays, but I got distracted by upgrading a router. Anyway, nobody cares. And then finally, the 3 rules that I hammer in, because even though there is elements of cognitive decline, they're not all senile. These are highly intelligent people in most cases. Not the ones going after trying to annex Canada. But no one, I teach them, will ever ask you for a password or a bank account. Ever. Over the phone, over email. And if they do, you hang up and you can go to the regular website and you can dial in the known phone numbers and handle things that way. Most important and the major form of scam on elders today, and not just elders, I actually had a parent in our parent group fell for this one hard. Like, she lost everything. I don't know what the financial damages were, but they owned her system at the end of this. I literally sent her to the Apple store. You're going to buy a new computer now. Like, it was that bad. They called them because they detected a problem on their computer. And it's the IT support spam and scams. We've got a lot of threat intel people here. You guys all are very familiar with these kinds of attacks. But this is an epidemic of this. So No one's ever going to call you about your computer. Nobody gives a crap about your computer except me, and I'm the only one that'll ever call you. Then never install anything somebody asks you to download. That's pretty obvious, but it's hard. Now, one of the reasons for this is even though with like the Apple and the Microsoft protections, you can get it to the point where it's hard to install like malware and stuff, and now you're filtering out the URL stuff. It's not impossible, but it is dramatically reduce the risk that to get into the system. Those are frequently legitimate software packages. So never install anything. No one's going to do that. I do it. Nobody else touches that computer except I do. If there's a problem, you just call me, you leave a message and wait, and it's okay to unplug your computer until I can call you back. Whoops. Reset there. All right. I want to thank Heidi and Bruce and the CFP board for giving me the chance to be up here. I hope you guys found this information useful. They told me I had 10 minutes. I'm at 10 minutes and 34 seconds here, but apparently I have 3.5 left if there's any questions. There is more I do. There is more you can do, but these 5 things alone have wiped out any close calls that I have had with my family. I've got it all in about a year ago, so I've got a track record with this, and I haven't had any serious issues in quite a while now. Yes? So pie holes are great, but that is not a service that you can just subscribe to and you can just set up easily. You've got to maintain crap all over the place with it. Yes? Adware I have looked at, and then, sorry, which number are you giving me? Oh, repeat the question. Got it. So she asked about Pi-hole, and I said, Pi-hole, you got to install Pi-holes in everybody's houses. Next DNS, install the software, good to go, we're done. You're asking Adware? AdGuard. I compared AdGuard to NextDNS, and it was pretty close. So I went with NextDNS over AdGuard. That was my choice. I can't remember the exact reasons why. This was a few years ago. I've been very happy with it, though.
Do you have any advice for mobile devices?
For mobile devices, get them on iOS. It's almost impossible to break onto an iOS device. Honestly, we know nation states can do it, but for regular criminals, the main thing you got to watch out for is don't install configuration profiles. You can put NextDNS on the phones, which will help as well. I use it on my phone whenever I have it, whenever I'm traveling around. The agent works pretty well there. I haven't had too many mobile issues. The mobile issues is, and honestly, they don't call cell phones, they call landlines typically, okay, because nobody has landlines except like old people and who are more likely to be victimized. And so I haven't really had any mobile issues. I try not to let them use Android if I can, but that's not a big deal if it's a more modern Android. Don't download gambling apps. All right. My time is up. Thank you very much.